don't want it to be too straight. I want the picture to have, I want it to be a bit impressionistic and a bit uneven, so by using big pastels like this it helps you not do too much detail at this stage. So I'm going to bring all this light in now with this colour, and with using pure colour now it's very bright light coming in, so wherever I've got these areas where I want to bring a little bit of bright light in, you see how it's brightening up now. Again mainly around this edge here, get some of that bright light in. So I'm just gently touching the surface now with this colour, creating a bit of texture. Round here, again, I just need to bring some light form in, where it's touching some parts of it. Obviously there's areas of shadow in there, but just by bringing a bit of light in, it just lifts it a little bit. So I'm just going to bring some light in there and there. And then at the end there, where it slightly juts out, starting to bring some lights in. And where I had those pools of water, they've nearly disappeared. So I'm just going to put little lines in there. Just to bring those back in. It's sloping a little bit, I'll have to twist it when it's done. Just a bit there. So it's gently bringing this to life again. Now what I'm going to do with the pastels that I've used previously for these grasses, I'm going to use the sharp corner, the sharp point now to get some texture in. So I'm actually drawing the grasses in now, in the distance. I'm only doing a few there, a few above it, and I'll bring them to the water's edge. And then the same here, just bring some more of those in. I'm using the mid colour now, not the dark colour, because I can see it better. I'll bring some of those in there. And I'm actually working at roughly the size I imagine them to be in the distance. Put them around that water, on these pools of water. I'm just going to put those on this side of them, so I can break the edge of the water up. And some of the grasses I'll put over the top of the water, so it really looks like they're behind the grasses. There's grasses in front of that water there. Bring some of those grasses in. I'll do this middle ground of grasses, and then I'll do a burst of grasses in the corner here. Then I won't do all the grasses. I'll just show you how you get the distant grasses, and then. So I'm letting a lot of the colour show through. The bright orange that I quite like, I'm letting that show through. And I'm just dabbing some of these. And as I come forward, I'll go right to the edge of the water with these, and I'll create a nice edge of grasses that touch the sides of the water. And as I come forward, I'll just work them a little bit bigger. I'm gradually going bigger with the grasses now. I'm working in between the shadows and in between the light colour. So I'll just bring those to the edge. I like to bring the grasses out into the water as well, so it gets, because these grasses are quite tall and parts of the river are quite shallow, especially near the edges, so the grasses actually stick up out of the water. So I can do that. Just bring those down. Just bring some more. I'm working a bit bigger now, and as the grasses come towards my eye line, I'm working a little bit bigger, building up the textures now, different colours. On my dark, I've got dark brown and I've got the black that's put in there as well as the shadow areas. And then as I come to the water's edge, I'm going to bring some over the top, the edge of the water like that. So I'll bring some of those as if they're curving off, they're curving over the side. I'll do that in a few places there. It breaks up the edge of the water, and it also makes it a little bit more interesting. So I'll bring some of those grasses over the side there. And then as I come around this side, I'll just do some a little bit bigger here. I'll just start to work within these shadows again. Again, I'd probably work some more shadows in here, but I'll I'll jump a couple of paces so you can see exactly how I'm doing this. So I'm building up to a lighter colour now. So as I come down here, I'm going to take some of those over the edges, around here, like that, and even in this colour I'm going to turn some that way. So I'm turning some that way, creating a little bit more. A lot of cows actually walk out to this. There's fields side by side with cattle in them, and they do tend to go out because the grasses are quite easy to stand on, and they like to get to the water. They can actually walk through these. So a lot of these grasses in this foreground were all broken down. I assume it was from that. It could have been from fishermen, but there were cattle in the fields at the side, so I assume that they do like to actually go to the water's edge. So what I've done now is I've just put that mid colour in. I'm going to put some of this lighter colour in now. Really only dotting these because it's almost catching just the top of the grasses. So I'm just going to put a few in there. I'll just dot them in. This just helps me to figure out where I'm going to do the very light ones. So I'll just put some of those in. As I come forward, I'll do a few more just to create some light on the edge of those. As it comes forward, I'll do the same over this side. Just tap a few dots. As I go into the distance, the dots get smaller, and I get right over into the distance there, the really small dots, literally just dotted, and it just gives an impression that the light's falling on the top of those grasses there. Same down here, put a few in there, get those in. What I'm going to do down here now is just use some of the pencils. I've got 3 shades there, including a quite bright orangey colour. So I'll just get a few of those on. Do some dark ones first. So I'm just going to literally flick the pencil over the top and just build up these shapes here into more accurate. It's quite thick, the grasses are quite thick. They're not very thin at this front end anyway. They tend to be a bit thicker towards the bridge. So I'll just flick some of those over the edge of the water as well. Just get some of those in. Where I've got these overlapping here, I'm going to just do some lines straight down in this dark brown. And that's because with the sun being over there, it's going to reflect some of these grasses in the water. So I'm just going to draw a few of those in. I'm going to do some of those curved as well because the reflections are going to show curved grasses. So I'll just draw a few lines in there and I'll drag that down so it's a bit smudged. So actually the reflection's a bit smudged because it's in the water's edge. Just to create a little bit of texture there, I'll do the same there. And over the other side as well, all along here, I can just bring some reflections of these grasses into the water's edge. I can flick some over there like that, just to get some in the distance coming around there. There's the darker ones. And then as I work towards the lighter colour, I'll jump straight to the lighter colour because we've got a few minutes now. And there's a couple more I'd do in between these, but I'll just show you how I flick some of the really light colours, and I'll flick them over the water's edge as well and actually get some just tipping over the water there. And I'll just bring some more in here, but like I say, normally I would put, if I was doing this for an exhibition or whatever, I'd obviously spend a lot more time on it, but basically I'd be doing the same job but just a bit more detailed. So I'm bringing some over now, look like that, just bending some of these grasses down where they've broken down, making it more interesting. This is quite a big bulk of browns and yellows in this corner, so I have to try and make the shapes of them interesting, otherwise it just would look not very good. So I'll just put a few of those in and catch the tops. And then over here, same thing, but I'm doing them very shorter, a lot shorter over here. So I'm just picking up some of the yellow ones that come right down to the water's edge, and I'm flicking them over the side of the water as well, so that you can get an impression there. You'll be able to see it just before you leave. obviously it's quite a distance where you're looking, some of you, so you probably won't be able to see some of the detail that I'm putting in now. But all I'm doing now is just on top of the shadow effect, I'm just tapping it and just creating some lighter coloured grasses, and I'll just take them across as well. So I'll take some of those across, and I'll just carry on doing that until I build up the foliage as best I can. Okay. Okay, so I'll just do a few more there. So you can see how I finish off with pencils, creating more texture now in the foreground. The things I would do with this is, my clouds are a little bit clumsy, I'd like to soften them off. The land is too equal, I want to get some darker land in there, and I can still do that. I'm quite happy with the distant water, and I like the trees there on this side. I like the textures that's coming in now in the grasses, they're looking quite good now, subject to a little bit more tidying up with detail. But I've got another layer yet to put on this water. I've done a little bit coming around there, but I'd actually go back to this and start to work a bit more colouring and get the colours a lot nicer in the foreground. But that's pretty much as I can do at the moment.
Right, that's lovely, that's all. Thank you.